station, WTIM.
You are listening to WTIM, your information station. And it's time now for the WTIM Morning Show, this time with our horticulture educator, Andrew Holsinger with the University of Illinois Extension. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. Andrew, it's a little bit warm out there in the middle of December right here. How's it been this last month in the horticulture world?
It's been all right. It's been pretty good.
Good. And we got a couple of fun topics today, and one that hits right at home for me. We're talking real Christmas trees and taking care of them today. People, I'm sure, go wrong in all types of ways when trying to take care of that. It's a finicky tree I got in my house right now.
Well, you can possibly go wrong, but we're here to help you to not go wrong, not do the wrong things when it comes to Christmas trees when they're live and in person in your home.
Yeah, because the consequences could be dire right there. You got to keep that thing watered, or else the very unfortunate could happen. So how do we take care of these Christmas trees? What's step number one that comes into the house? What are we thinking about?
Well, whenever you purchase your tree, you're going to want to look for a tree that's in good condition, great condition.
Yes.
You don't want to have needles falling already whenever you're purchasing the tree. You want to have good coloration. Look for the best looking tree that you can. Yeah. Sometimes you can spin them and make them work, but think about the size of the tree that you're buying for the room that you're putting it in. I see those kind of comical, like they put a Christmas tree up on top of the roof to make it look like the tree's extended.
Yeah, like a quarter, the top quarter of the tree just poking out there. That's
right. Yeah, there's a lot of humor out there in the world, but you want to put it in kind of a protected place. Yeah. So an unheated garage would be a great place to store it before you can get it set up into the home. Sometimes, we have busy lives. We might have a delay, but main thing is keeping it hydrated. So as soon as you can place it into the home, you're going to want to keep it hydrated. So usually you're going to make a fresh 1/2-inch cut and place that in a stand, that trunk in the stand, and start hydrating it as soon as possible. So you're going to be adding that water. Christmas trees take up a substantial amount of water. It can drain that reservoir fairly quickly. So you keep providing water. They do have some pretty interesting contraptions like funnels to get the water where it needs to go. Makes it a little easier to get down there for some. But main thing's keeping it hydrated. You also think about where you're putting it in your house. You got things like heaters, vents, maybe the older homes with the antique kind of radiators, that all kinds of heat sources. So you want to try to mitigate that. Don't keep it near a heat source. Probably shut off those Christmas lights whenever you're not around. You don't want any sources of ignition. I like watching those videos that they produce where, like, this could happen to your tree if you're not careful, and the thing's torched and toasted. And it doesn't take very long whenever you have these evergreen materials for them to catch on fire if they are dry.
Sure. It's almost like having it's like the opposite of having a candle at home. And did I blow out my candle? Did I water my tree? I'm constantly having that thought, and it definitely sucked up the first gallon of water I gave it. Now it's kind of leveled off a little bit. It's sticking with a good level of water there. Let's head back to the very first part, like you said there, purchasing a tree. The needles, there's different types of needles when you're going out to these farms. The long, skinny ones are pretty soft, I guess you could say, and then the very short ones that are also pretty soft. Do you know the names of these two trees and maybe the benefits?
Well, there are different varieties of trees. There's, of course, your fir trees are probably your most popular, and there's various kinds of fir trees. Unfortunately, fir trees don't grow as well in our climate here in central Illinois, but we do have lots of variability with some of the fir trees we can grow here. Then we have spruce trees. So there's a number of spruce trees. You may have even a pine tree with its needles. So depending on the kind of tree that you have, it's still the same kind of practice of keeping it hydrated. And it does make for a variety of greenery. If you want to find some of these trees out in nature, you can make holiday centerpieces and things of that nature. I know I have a holly bush outside, and have some of those vibrant red berries. Well, you want to harvest it when it's above freezing, so that way you don't have any damage to the berries. It will discolor if you don't harvest it at the right time.
Interesting.
Go
ahead.
You want to not harvest pines or spruces out in nature at this time. Usually, whenever you're pruning a pine tree, you'll see that needle expansion. They call them candles. As the needles are expanding, that's the time that you do some pruning to your pine trees.
Sure. I keep seeing videos of guys walking out in these Christmas tree farm fields, and they're kind of chopping them into shape. They don't grow perfectly like that. Is that true? They gotta get some branches out of whack a little bit. They kind of have to be shaped a little bit.
Well, the pruning usually there's like a window up until the July time frame. So they're doing their pruning. They're out there in the hottest time of the year trying to shape these trees to the way they need to be for you whenever you're purchasing here in the wintertime.
How about bugs? Are these trees tracking in bugs that we need to be aware of? Do we let them be and then they'll leave with the tree? Anything on that front?
Yeah, on that front, there can be some insects that can make their way in with this conifer evergreen material. So you might find some stink bugs. I've found those on occasion. But the one that probably gets the most interest is the eggs of praying mantids. So those praying mantids can have their egg cases laid into the tree, and then unsuspectingly, you have the family of praying mantises. So it can catch you by surprise, but I'm sure there's a number of other insects that could make their way into the home as well. So something to be cautious about. Along with your house plants, be careful whenever you're bringing new plants into your home that you inspect for insects.
Sure. I don't think I can think of an insect I'd rather have less than a family of praying mantises there. But that's anything we can do for safety there. Anything we can do for the cleanup. Is there any chemicals you use for that? Do you pick them up one by one? What do you do?
The praying mantis is actually a kind of a beneficial insect, but insects in the home like stink bugs or those, what I've seen a lot of, I mean, just a ton of the Asian lady beetles. They have been, I still have them. I'm going to my shed and pulling out boxes and they're just everywhere. Man. And so just a good vacuum cleaner, a dedicated vacuum cleaner is a great tool for not only cleaning up your holiday messes, but getting rid of some of those insects you don't want in the home.
Those beetles, should I be picturing that like kind of rainbowy back? It almost looks like
kind of a yellowish,
gasoline, like kind of a weird yellow. Okay, yellowish. Yeah, okay, I think we're on the same page there. Speaking with Andrew Holsinger, horticulture educator for the University of Illinois Extension, talking all about caring for our Christmas trees. I mean, we got down the bug rabbit hole right there. Final wrap up words. We can continue this conversation, but we're going to take ourselves a break. Anything left for our listeners in this first half, Andrew?
Just be safe whenever it comes to the holidays. Look out for those worn holiday cords. Don't plug too many things into an outlet. Just kind of the everyday kind of safety things that you want to think about whenever you're decorating. And there's all kinds of decorations that can go around for the holiday season.
Yeah, we didn't get enough into that. The decorations that surround your Christmas tree, those heat up as well. So, we got to keep extra care around those. So we will talk more about this in our back half with Andrew Holsinger, horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension. Thanks so much to our live stream sponsors, People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville, where you always do better with Landmark. You can find the stream on YouTube at WTIM TV and on Facebook at Taylorville Daily News. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll be right back on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station, WTIM.
Let's check the markets now on the RFD Radio Network. I'm Jim Taylor. Corn lower, beans higher, wheat trading lower. March corn down half a penny, 4.36 3/4. May corn down 3/4, 4.43. July corn 4.46 1/4. Down a penny. January beans up 7, 9.58 3/4. March beans up 5 3/4, 9.59. May beans 9.67 1/4, up 5 3/4. March wheat down 8, 5.33 1/4. May wheat 5.43 3/4, down 8. January bean meal up 2.20, 281.70. January bean oil 39.69, up 14 cents. Livestock market, January feeders down $2, 2.55 even. December live cattle down 90 cents, 190.40. February lean hogs up 32 cents, 84.02. Energy market, January crude oil up a dime, 70.68. And I'm Jim Taylor on the RFD Radio Network.
This is Jim Adcock with People's Bank and Trust, where customers have one business banker who understands their business and provides the right financial services to achieve their goals. Your business banker is your single source for all your financial needs, from cash management to lines of credit, from mortgages to equipment loans, and everything in between. Call me at 888-PBT-1954. Bank with People's Bank and Trust, so you can spend your time running your business, not explaining it. At People's Bank and Trust, we put people first. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
The NFL is on Westwood One.
Handoff, Peterson breaking to the clear. Far side, Peterson, 40, 35. Peterson, good night.
Tune in all season long for the NFL's biggest games and most exciting players. If it's the NFL, it's right here.
WTIM on its many on-air platforms. The Big 870 across central Illinois, 96.1 FM in Christian County, 107.5 FM in Shelbyville, and 107.9 FM in the Pana-Nokomis area brings you NFL Sunday afternoon doubleheaders, Monday night and Thursday night football, along with the divisional championships and the Super Bowl. All brought to you by
Specialized Hearing Solutions, McLean Food Service, Rural Rentals, Sloan Implement Company, Dan Rizzo with American Family Insurance, and Advanced Eye Care.
Craig's Realtors continues to be the market leader in Christian County, closing more sales in the first half of 2024 than anyone else. Owner Steve Craig's here, inviting you to let us work for you by clicking on my icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
With over 8 hours a day of agriculture programming weekdays and 2 hours on Saturdays, WTIM AM, FM, and online is your ag information station. Listen by tuning in on air or online and listen to WTIM Ag podcasts anytime.
Your information station, WTIM.
Welcome back into WTIM, your information station, our morning show, this time with Andrew Holsinger, horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension. We're talking all about caring for our Christmas trees, keeping them hydrated, knowing the insects that might come on along with them with that Christmas tree. Now let's talk disposal, the very end of this tree's life cycle here. Your tips on getting rid of these Christmas trees in the best way possible.
Yeah, you want to get it out of your house as soon as possible. Yeah. You want to transport it outdoors. You know, once the holiday is over, you're going to not really need a use for the tree. So it's good to put it to a use. And so I know that some bodies of water, some lakes, they collect the trees, put them into the habitat for the fish, make it a useful venture. You can probably dispose of it in other ways. Some cities probably collect it. Maybe check with your municipality on each disposal kind of process.
Any practical uses if we had one and we just want to break it down in our backyard? Would it be a good fire starter? Would it be? I mean, anything?
I mean, they certainly will burn. Yeah. You could burn them. You could also, like your yard waste.
Sure.
Same as yard waste. If you have branches, whatever you do with your branches, it's going to be a similar kind of process.
Very cool. Very cool. And I love to spotlight that these lakes that go to those efforts every year. Lake Shelbyville, I know they do it, and they collect these bundles of trees, send them down to the depths of the lake right there. And that's always a really cool thing. Getting it over there might be the hardest part of that. And absolutely, like you said, check with your municipality. I don't know if the dump trucks or the garbage trucks will just take that on garbage day there. So that's awesome. Andrew Holsinger speaking there, horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension. What else we got for Christmas plants? I know you're talking poinsettias out there, Christmas cactuses. You got any of those in your house, some Christmas cactuses?
Not yet. We got some at the office. Cool. They're always a good, pretty resilient plant. I mean, they stay with a little bit of maintenance. They're not too got to do a lot to take care of them. Now your poinsettia, you probably got a little bit more care about the poinsettia. People get these as gifts and then they don't think about the culture and care of a poinsettia. So if you're shopping for a poinsettia, those beautiful colored, what we think are leaves, are not leaves, they're actually bracts. The flowers of the poinsettia are actually yellow and they're pretty inconspicuous. Like you don't really hardly notice them. And so looking at those flowers, you can kind of tell the how much life is left in this poinsettia. So take a look at that. Usually they come in a foil wrapper. You're probably used to seeing that, but that doesn't do well for drainage for the water. So it helps to protect it from the cold, from coming from Mexico, tropical areas. You're wanting to protect it from the cold, but once you get it into the home, that foil wrapper can be a detriment to the drainage. So make sure that you have plenty of drainage for your poinsettias. Again, put them in a smart location where they're not going to be near a heat register, someplace that's going to dry it out fairly quickly. Think about the light that you have. They're still alive. Water it as needed. You don't want to overwater it. They are prone to some of those root rot diseases. So you're not going to root rot your Christmas tree, though, because it doesn't have roots. But there is some opportunity to look for trees that do have roots, and some of those could be planted outside after you get done with them. So they have a wide variety of Christmas trees out there, artificial, real with the roots. So be on the lookout for whatever you want to purchase. Hopefully you got your purchases made for your Christmas tree, not out there the night before Christmas.
Be a little bit late.
Yeah, be a little bit late.
You got the presents wrapped before you got the Christmas tree to put them under right there. But you can't go wrong with overwatering the Christmas tree, but you definitely can with these poinsettias. More sensitive, pretty finicky plant. How did this become like the Christmas staple of plant when it doesn't really like the cold? Where does it come from? It comes from
Mexico.
Yeah. Do you have any idea of the history behind the poinsettia?
There was John Poinsettia. The poinsettia comes from his last name, and so he is credited with highlighting the plant, but it just seemed to be a novel kind of plant with its characteristics, and thought it would be good to spread the love of the season, I guess, with that plant being red in the holidays. So
the color makes sense. I thought you were going to make a joke right there. It came from John Poinsettia, but there actually was a John Poinsettia. That is pretty cool right there. We were talking Christmas cactuses. Do those last just forever? Can those last years?
Well, and you can propagate more of them. If you have one, you can take a cutting of the leaves and then root them and then make more, and maybe a good gift to be given in the future. So lots to do with plants. We also have the outdoors, and you could decorate your outdoors. Some have porch pots where they had their pots and containers that they utilize throughout the season. If they're durable with the winter weather, you can add some greenery. Maybe you have the lower limbs of a Christmas tree. You can get holiday evergreen material. Red twig dogwood, all kinds of decorative kind of items to spruce those up a bit, so to speak.
Just awesome. Andrew, we got about a minute and a half left here. Any final words, and especially with the warmer weather out here, if there are any other operations that can be done in our home gardens or anything like that, anything we can do to set us up well for the next year's season?
I still have leaves in my yard. I'm sure there's others that have leaves. You don't want them to accumulate too much to where they're smothering out the turf grass. And with turf grass, whenever it does get, we have fluctuations, but whenever you have that really cold, freezing weather, try to stay off your turf grass. The plants are there. You have the crown, the growing area. You don't want to be seeing your footprints in the future, like it can affect your turf grass with walking on it. So try to stay off the turf whenever it's frozen, and be sure to inspect your salt material that you're going to de-icers. Some of those can have sensitivity to plants, and so planning that ahead of time, you can choose wisely whenever it comes to either a salt or non-salt kind of solution.
Awesome. Just perfect things to be aware of, especially this time of season. Andrew, any places we can go online, phone numbers we can call for any of this information?
Extension.illinois.edu is our main website. You put a /CJMM, you'll get some local information. And if you need to give me a call, my number is 217-300-9210.
Perfect. Andrew, thank you so much for taking the time being here with us today.
All right.
That's Andrew Holsinger, horticulture educator with the University of Illinois Extension. We thank you all for tuning into this WTIM morning show.
Your information station, WTIM.